In this video, we'll talk about how you can go vegan in a non-vegan household. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button down below. And if you're new to our channel, Next Vegan You, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell for instant updates on brand new content. While veganism has become more accepted by today's society, those who practice it still belong to the minority. Just to give you some perspective, out of the 7.9 billion people in the world as of January 2021, around 79 million identify themselves as vegan. If you've made the jump to veganism, there's a good chance that you'll also be the minority in a household, especially if you're not amongst family. And if that's the case, you may very well have found yourself in quite an interesting situation. Now, it's easy for things to go awry in this kind of living setup. Tempers may flare up, petty arguments may arise, and, at worst, relationships may be strained, all because of differences in food choices. But good news, it doesn't always have to be this way. If you happen to be in this predicament, this video is exactly for you, because we'll give you 10 tips on how to live harmoniously with non-vegans in the same household. So stick around until the end of this video. Tip number 1. Communicate your boundaries in a clear and diplomatic way. This tip is at the top of the list because this will set the tone of how your living situation will turn out to be. And ideally, you should be communicating your boundaries and sentiments in a way that would make people understand and not antagonize them in any way. Now, unless you're living with people who are strongly against veganism, you can count on your housemates to hear you out. Never speak in an accusatory tone, because that will obviously create nothing but friction and tense moments. Here's an example. If one of your housemates continues to use your pans for melting butter, communicate your issue in a respectful manner. Communicate your issue like an adult and avoid letting your emotions get in the way. Never bottle it up until you just explode in a fit of rage one day. That can't be good. Tip number 2, don't try too hard to convert your housemates. So, you've decided to make the jump to veganism for health purposes, and you deserve some props. But whatever it is that led to your decision may not work the same for the people around you. Now, it can be problematic if you hold a hard stance for veganism and against any form of animal cruelty. Seeing the mere sight of cooked meat may trigger you in ways that may lead to a volatile episode. If that's the case, then it may not be a good idea for you to live with people who don't share the same ideas as you. But if you're just about the diet, then there's a good chance that it won't be as catastrophic. Just do your best to have a harmonious coexistence with your housemates. You can have them try some of your best delicacies, which may or may not make them decide to join you. But at the very least, everyone gets to enjoy a good meal. Tip number 3, be the best vegan home chef you can be for everybody. Speaking of having your housemates try your best delicacies, now's your time to shine. If you're still planning to have people join forces with you, the best way would likely be through their stomach. If they have misconceptions about vegan food, this is your chance to correct them. Make a full 3-course meal if you can, from appetizers like a tasty tomato flatbread, a scrumptious vegetarian Wellington for your main course, and some delectable dark chocolate oatmeal cookies. The best part is you can do this a few more times. If you're the person who loves to cook anyway, this should be a fun and fulfilling experience for you. Not only are you sharing something you're passionate about, but you're also filling everyone's stomachs with delicious food. Everybody wins. Tip number 4, join in on the grocery shopping. This tip is specifically for those who live with their parents at home. If you have a non-vegan family, they will obviously buy their non-vegan food items when they go to the grocery store. And as the only plant-based eater in the house, you'll be giving your folks that extra workload to do the shopping for you. They also likely won't have the time to read labels, and they may end up buying the wrong items. Take that burden off their shoulders and join in on the grocery shopping yourself. Read your own labels to make sure you're getting the right stuff. You're also not wasting anybody's time or money. And if you can't tag along during the times they'll be doing the shopping, drop by the store on your own time. Tip number 5, secure yourself a vegan area in the kitchen. Like we mentioned a while ago with the butter and pans, these kinds of incidents are pretty much occupational hazards. Sometimes one of your non-vegan housemates will mistakenly use one of your utensils, and that, of course, could spark an issue between you two. Get yourself your own little space in the kitchen. Let your housemates know that these are exclusively for your vegan recipes. Do the same for your fridge by labeling your tofu meat and vegan cheeses. But if you can afford it, get yourself a mini fridge to store your vegan goodies in. The good news is, they're not that pricey. Again, it's all about setting your boundaries without alienating the people around you. We can't stress that enough. Communication is key in every relationship, whether it's between professionals, romantic partners, and, in this case, vegan and non-vegan people. Tip number 6. Do your meal preps for an entire week. As we said earlier, living in a non-vegan house means you're likely to be outnumbered. That means you'll be competing with everybody for the use of the stove or kitchen counters. This, too, could be a cause of friction if you let it get out of hand. The best way to avoid this is by doing your meal prep to last an entire week. Ideally, you'd want to do this during the weekend when everyone is relaxing and away from the kitchen. Now, you have this domain all for yourself where you can cook in peace. The biggest advantage of having your meals prepared in advance is you can easily pull out those Tupperwares whenever lunch or dinner time comes around. You won't be a nuisance to anyone else who chooses to enjoy a nice bowl of chicken fried rice. Tip number 7. Join a vegan community near you. Sooner or later, you will feel lonely about not having someone to share a sweet potato avocado tartare with. And if your housemates won't give up being carnivores or omnivores, you're pretty much on your own. But life shouldn't be that miserable, right? If you can't find like-minded individuals inside your home, try to look for them outside. Befriend your neighbors and see which ones are fellow vegans. You're bound to find a few handfuls who share the same beliefs and food preferences as you do. But if you're not that comfortable making friends the old school way, you can do it the 21st century way through social media. Facebook alone has numerous vegan groups you can join, many of which are located within your area. That should make socialization a lot easier. Tip number 8. Learn to not take things personally. Whether you're living with family or friends, non-vegans won't always see veganism in a positive light. You will hear criticisms and snide remarks about it, like how you're eating rabbit food all the time. Since you're the only vegan in a non-vegan household, you'll eventually need to learn how to not take things personally. Whatever they say should go in through one ear and out the other. Those words should just bounce off of you like you're made of Teflon. Now, you will, of course, need to set some boundaries. Personal attacks aren't welcome in any way, shape, or form. So is blatant disrespect. Other than that, everything's fair game. Tip number 9. Loosen your stance a bit. Let's say your younger sister has been experimenting on baking cookies, and she just made a new batch for everyone to try. You're her favorite sibling, and it would mean a lot to her if you had just a tiny sliver to taste. You know fully well that butter and eggs were part of her ingredients. What would you do? Let's be clear here. You have the right to say no. If this is something you feel strongly about, everyone should respect that. But having that one bite off a cookie does not make you a bad vegan. As long as you're not consuming animal products for the most part, you're all good. Tip number 10. Have yourself some vegan snacks to enjoy. It's always fun to have a little me time, especially in a non-vegan house where you're the only vegan. And what better way to spend your time alone than to have your very own plant-based snacks? It could be some pita and hummus in a bowl of pumpkin seeds and nuts of your choice. Enjoy them while watching your favorite Netflix show on a Friday night. Who's stopping you? And since no one else shares the same diet, there's more for you. What are other tips you have for non-vegans living in a vegan household? Comment below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Next Gen U. You can also click on the notification bell to get instant updates on our brand new content.